Wonder if we got any sniper rifles in the primary spot. I know there's a couple that if they have outlaw, I'll have to look at my vault. There might be something.
Only one enemy remains. Don't let them catch their breath. Not one single opponent stands. An
Thank
utter
you.
thrashing. In the lead.
Alright, let's get right into it. With the upcoming season of The Worthy, Destiny is tweaking a lot of aspects of the game, one of which is weapons. No, it's not a nerf per se, but it is troubling if true. Bungie is proposing to put an expiration date on
Got him.
weapons. So take a step back and think about that for a minute. Bungie wants to put an infusion limit
Got you.
on weapons for a certain amount of time to spur players on to use other weapons introduced into the game. Meaning, say after a season or so, possibly more, that weapon you grinded for
Thank you.
will
Thank
no
you.
longer be a viable go-to in a few months or the upcoming season.
Eliminate your enemies and protect your team. Go.
To me, that's fundamentally wrong. You play your favorite, or in some cases, less than favorite activity. You finally get that gun you want, and then, if it's not a role you
He's
like
not
or
just
even a
standing
god roll,
anymore.
you grind some more. Spend endless hours and materials, and then, by the great blessings of RN Jesus, you get the gun
You
you want
behind us?
with the rolls you want. Naturally, you're elated, and you're relieved that you've earned your Beast Slayer. That feeling is what games can be about.
At least to leave
The
the sidearms
achievement.
alone.
The accomplishment. That feeling you get when you finally beat a
They're not
legendary
saying
nightfall,
they
a
won't
raid
jinx it.
boss, or execute a flawless trials run.
Just realized I have no bounties.
You have your loadouts all set, and you're ready to take that god roll
Uh.
gun you busted your butt for with you wherever you go. Well, you better
Alrighty.
capture that gameplay with it, because after a few months or weeks, you won't be able to infuse that weapon past an infusion cap. You're going to have to find a new weapon, or possibly have the same weapon drop at a higher
My God,
base
fuck
level
it, I'm just
than the
gonna
one you
steal this
currently
fucking
have.
ambulance.
You know, that god roll you now no longer have because of the infusion cap. Sure, you can still use the god roll gun, but now it will be a detriment to your overall light level,
Woo,
making light
that's
level
cute.
enabled activities
Okay.
harder to do, which goes against why you infused the
Tibby,
gun
Tibby.
in the first place. You play the game the way you want to play the game. Isn't that what Bungie said? How is taking away a player's ability to bring a gun along for the ride,
Fucking shotgun.
playing the game the way we want? In essence, again, if this is all true, you are forcing players to waste more time regrinding an activity for a gun they already had, with no guarantee of a god roll or even a roll that the player
Really?
preferred. Bungie, what the heck? 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. Destiny 2 is already grindy enough without having to go through this artificial regrind. It's like getting a puppy in the summer, teaching it new tricks, getting attached to it, playing with it for a few weeks, only to find a brand new puppy on your doorstep that fall. Looks like the old puppy, but it's not the same. Who the heck wants to go through that? So as you
Shit.
see, it's about attachment from a player's standpoint. For Bungie's standpoint, you can see the latest from Luke Smith's
Bounty.
director cut blog post. Now, we all have these weapons and armor, the pieces to fit an ever-changing set of circumstances and in-game challenges. That is why our vaults are bulging and almost overflowing with our hard-earned loot. After all, this is a looter-shooter, right? First, they introduce seasonal activities and increase the FOMO. For all those who don't know, That's the feeling of missing out. They increase that factor exponentially. Get this gun or armor before the season's over. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Get your god rolls
good
right
gun.
here. Step right up.
You know where you get it?
Forge.
Now, after adding
you
additional pressure and grind to the game, they want to
Sure she
revisit
does.
and
We
revamp
forged the
a major
crap
part
out
of the
that
way the
stuff.
game is
Ran
played.
so many damn
They want to
forges,
take your
like,
loot.
ugh.
Oh,
Our
if
weapons
you're
will be
looking for
powerful,
forge, I
but
always
only
get
for a
them from,
limited time offer.
Scourge.
Yeah.
First, expiring seasons. Now, expiring weapons. Give them
I
an
don't do
inch,
forges.
and you know the rest. Bungie, what are you thinking?
I have the gun. I have
The
like
grind
5
is
of the
bad
gun.
enough now that players aren't leveling all of the characters like they
you.
used to. Some have even left the game because they feel it's too much of a grind. And heck, why grind at all when they can purchase whatever seasonal content they want and be right back at square one with everyone else at the start of the season?
Yeah, by Thick Husky.
Bungie, if you want players to use different weapons, then change the content you are putting out. Make the bosses have less stomp mechanics so players can utilize
Risk
other
runner.
CQB weapons and not have to rely on distant weapons to get the job done.
When did they start
Hell,
dropping
even bosses
black
with no
armored
legs have a
weapons
stomp.
in
In
Scourge?
what universe does that make sense? You are nerfing
they always
snipers
done that?
in the
Yeah, but
season of the
always.
worthy
Must be just
because
a
you
recent
update.
noticed
No,
that
I
they were
had
being
it. Maybe I got it from
overutilized in the current
I don't know.
sandbox.
I've gotten them
Well,
a few
why?
times. I just
Because you can't get near a boss without
I
getting
went through Scourge
stomped
a
or sent
few
flying
times. I never
across the
got
map
anything but
like a snot rocket shot
their
out of a
weapons.
cannon.
I never got any black armory weapons.
I might be wrong, Chips. Okay.
Oh, I'm
I
saying.
just
Instead
know
of
I have
nerfing weapons because we use the weapons you put in the game,
Yeah.
look at the core problem as to why we use those weapons. Now, I'm all for balanced weapons to a point. Pinnacles or ritual weapons should be better just by name alone. Not exponentially better, but a few ticks better as a reward for our efforts of obtaining them. You want people to use different weapons? Give us the capability to add more mods
How
to the
did they
weapons.
capture C?
I'll even meet you halfway. Give us a weapon that has an extra expiring seasonal mod slot to go with 2 permanent mod slots. Players will come up with all sorts of combinations, and the meta you're so concerned about will be ever changing and adaptive.
Zone A. You have zone advantage.
Invest the time to come up with better, usable mods. Don't take away our ability to carry our guns with us on our journey. Try to seek a better balance between the cost
Because
of modding and grinding for the materials to do so. Less costly modding leads to further experimentation, which leads to, you guessed it, more flexible and ever-changing meta. The very limitations you put into the game choke us into the one meta mentality. Sweeping nerfs are not the answer. You have the data. You know the exploits. You know what's out there, Bungie. Instead of constantly changing big things, try changing the little things to make the game run smoother. For example, load screen times are horrible. Getting to the tower or getting into a match should not take that long once the match is made. And don't even get me started on the whole donating Fractaline 100 at a time. That was a fiasco that should never, ever be revisited.
You're in the lead.
And for the love of all that's holy, increase the vault space. You want us to do all of these cool encounters and activities that require different weaponry and armor affinities, then give us the garage space to do so.
The lead.
It's far easier to finally find a good armor roll stat-wise and make it into the affinity you want than ever before, and it doesn't cost. Oh, wait, it will cost a lot, because if you find what you want, infuse it to a higher level, and then the following season have to change the affinity at an extremely high cost, because it's easier to do that than to find another high stat roll
Bad
dropped in the
pumpkin
wild,
turtle.
or from the timeline, costing you more grind for more materials. Well, you see where I'm going. And you want to take our guns?
Zone B lost.
Bungie, please. And with that, I'm out. Please
No.
remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Give me your thoughts on this. Thank you, and have a great day.
What happened?
Zone C captured. Zone advantage is yours. Zone A lost. Zone B captured. You have zone advantage. 1 minute. Zone B lost. Your opponents have built a lead. Destroy it! 30 seconds.